afternoon, Pops. Good afternoon, visitors. Can we, like, seriously, can we put this down? I hate being short. Oh, we can do this. We can do this, Tammy. I absolutely hate being short. Okay. Now, better. I even have my heels on. Fellow Toastmasters, thank you for coming out this afternoon to listen to my speech. Thank you, Max, for a very congenial introduction. That's fun. That's a fun sound. Like Max said, in about 2002-ish, I was introduced to the Toastmasters method from the English ambassador to the United States of America from Great Britain. How cool is that? He was teaching a class in a classical curriculum co-op thing that I had my kids at the time, and I had never even heard, I didn't even know Toastmasters, didn't know anything about it. I was a mommy taking my little kids to do their stuff. And this man was English ambassador, so he was a brilliant communicator. He was a little aloof personally, but he knew the Toastmasters method. And I watched 12, 15-year-old kids in his class just be 12, 15-year-olds at the beginning of the semester. And as soon as he got them up and he got their motor memory going in the Toastmasters method, they turned into little executives, little CEOs. It was beautiful for me to watch. So at the time, my kids were too little to be in his class, but I remember that method. And we moved on, situations changed and everything, and so that's when I co-opted a friend of mine who I just knew, but he was just coincidentally a Toastmaster. And I said, come help me do this in my home with these kids. And he was like, oh, he was a Toastmaster, Kim. Oh, yeah, I gotta do it. So he came and basically taught, he led the meetings in order to familiarize them with the method. And it was wildly successful, but it was intoxicating for me. It was a little addictive. It was so much fun. But he was driving from the Woodlands to my house in Kingwood every other week, and after a couple of years, I thought, maybe I'm taking advantage of him a little bit. So that's when I joined Deerwood Toastmasters in order to kind of take those reins myself. My goal today in Pathways is to talk about something that all of these beautiful, look at Rhonda's beautiful face, and Kim, and Tammy, and Becky. We've got a theme going here in the last few days with Pops, huh? It's leadership. So what is my project this week? Explain your leadership style. Okay, this is it. I took the little Toastmasters test. I'm a democratic leader. I'm not going to go into any more details about leadership because you guys told me yesterday, experientially, you told me, you showed me, and you had me do, like role play. We did leadership yesterday, so you need to know, it's ridiculous for me to stand up here and tell Tammy about leadership. So what I'm going to do is, my leadership style is democratic. I'm going to give you 3 scenarios at Deerwood Toastmasters where I hope to explain that style, and then I'm going to solicit feedback from you guys. So any kind of seemingly insignificant thing to you, please write it down, because that's going to help me lead my group better. Okay, President of Deerwood Toastmasters, I'm sitting in a meeting one morning, and in walks this really, I call it like this walk, I've named it the confident flowing. It's not even a good act, but so this woman walks in with what I call confident flowing, and she's like open. It's almost like an entertaining style walking, but it's like almost like her soul. You can tell her soul was made to just soar. So she walks with her arms a little bit spread, and I'm like, wow, she's so confident. So her soul is soaring, but she's got to stay grounded. That woman is Kim Single. Come into the show. Come and walk. You know this walk. I can't even do it. Come on, look at that. Girl, look at that. So Kim walks in. Thank you, Kim. And as as you all know, we give opportunities for guests. Kim was a guest at Deerwood Toastmasters because you're trying out new clubs. Well, you were already a member at Kingwood. So we gave Kim an opportunity to do table topics, and of course, Kim got up there and talked about, you remember what you talked about? You probably don't even remember the day existed. Kim talked about Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and she just killed it, of course. Of course she won table topics. And so, long story short, Kim was elected Vice President of Education in, June-ish? Yeah, took over in July. And Kim has this democratic style of leadership, you already know. If there's an executive decision to be made, you just kind of open it up. And you let people have a lot of freedom to give their ideas. With Miss 1 year, 2 year Toastmaster? Okay, what? DTM, Triple Crown, what else? This is an ambitious and competitive and beautiful woman. So the democratic style of leadership in this particular situation is wonderful. She knows much more than I do. So when I open up an executive decision, I know Kim, even if she doesn't have specific experience in that area, because she's only been a Toastmaster 2 years, she knows where to find the hands, and you never make up anything. She never flies on the seat of her pants. So the democratic style of leadership is very, very efficacious. And it's been really, really fruitful. Why are you laughing, Tammy? It's been very fruitful for the success of our club. And with somebody ambitious like him, when you want to get your club engaged and get your club meeting those goals, it's wonderful to be a democratic leader with somebody like Kim, because every time Kim hits one of her goals, guess what happens in our club? It gets a little bit closer to hitting one of its goals. So, Kim, don't leave Deerwood. Another morning, I was sitting down in the morning Toastmasters meeting, and in walks a beautiful little lady with she had the spirit like of a frightened kitten. She would walk like closed into herself. And so, it's a new person, so I go and greet, hey, how you doing? What brings you here? And she said, my daughter says I'm smart. What? My daughter says I'm very smart. I don't assert myself. I said, oh, your daughter says you're really smart, but you don't assert yourself. Yes. I said, oh, well, you're in the right place. Come on in. And she, you were just mentioning this in the car, and this happened with Jancy and I. So this beautiful woman is named Jancy, and Jancy she was a frightened little kitten. She came in, we sat down, and she didn't speak again in that meeting, but it's like when you see somebody like so closed, you kind of open yourself up more, right? And so I feel myself as like, Amy, you're not her mother, but I found myself like physically comforting little Jancy, and I shouldn't have done. Amy, I'm not everybody's mom, but I think I am. Thanks be to God, it resonated with her, right? And she didn't open up and start speaking at that meeting, but she came back, which was huge, because she told me she wanted to come for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
For 2 years she wanted to come to Mercy, finally built up the courage to come. And she came back the very next week. And so I started, in addition to, encouraging her at the meetings, I usually follow up with new members once during the week. I started corresponding with her more. And we played a little, so it's like after, like a month or so. And we played this you've seen the game where you start a story. So I'll say once upon. So playing that game. The tables are arranged in a rectangle, and we went around. Okay, I'm having a bipolar moment. Why do we say we went around the table when it's a rectangle? That's an aside. That drives me crazy. Why is that wrong? We went a rectangle the room, and each person was supposed to say a word. And poor little Johnson, it's just one word, right? And but she cut to she looked, if she'd come to her turn and she'd just panic. And I was like, oh, don't worry about it. Go to the next one. But she was that terrified to speak. Poor baby. So we kept up. And so finally, one day she decided to go and do timer. So I sat beside her. She was timer. And she was like, I got to decide, okay, so what do you want to try next week? You want to do grammarian? Do you have to talk? Do it from your chair. And so she did timer again. And slowly, eventually she did grammarian. Eventually she did all the roles. And she went up and answered a table topic. And she did it beautifully. And thanks be to God, she won that table topic because everybody in the room knew how hard it was for her to get up there. And so after she won that table topic, she was like, she had a little spring in her step. You can see the difference when she walks in the room. She's having so much fun. And the more fun that she's having, the more I'm like, oh. It's like when an underdog comes back from a victory. I was getting that feeling as she's just start bouncing in the room. And she decided she would do, and in addition to answering that table topic, a couple of weeks later, she did table topics. She was a table topics master. And she did, it's so fun, she did well with that. And I noticed a little more movement around. So I said, you were an icebreaker. Ready for that icebreaker, girl? She gave her icebreaker, and she told us that her mother and her father told her when she was 11 years old that they actually weren't her mother and father, that she had been abandoned by another family member and just like literally left. She said on the living room floor. And so she said that really obviously damaged her life, and that was really difficult. So that just told me everything I needed to know about her, and it made me just made me love her. And so instead of emailing her like twice a week, I started like emailing her 3 times a week. How you doing? What's going on? And last week, Chancy Nagy, I gave her the multitasker award. She was our grammarian. What else did she do? She had 3 roles, and she was like, I got this, yes, no problem. So we got a solid member with Chauncey. I'm so happy with her. But my experience with Chauncey, using a democratic style of leadership, is golden. Because, I mean, even though she's not ambitious like him, she doesn't have her agenda set. She's very, very successful. She's having a blast. And, I don't care if she does her icebreaker. It doesn't bother me if she wants to go slow, great. She wants to go fast and pull a Kim, great. So my experiential democratic style, it's great with him. It's been fabulous with Jancy. Toastmasters, I was sitting at a meeting one morning. No, I wasn't. I was standing at the lectern one morning because the meeting had already begun. We're about 10 minutes into the meeting. I was just about to turn it over to the Toastmaster, and coming through the door, blasting in, Joe, is this the Toastmaster place? And we're like, oh my God, he sucked all the oxygen out of the room. Like, were you there that day? He startled the people in the room. And he said, so normally when people come in late, I'll just say, hey, welcome, what's your name? So he was wham, and I said, oh, hey, yeah, it's Toastmasters. What's your name? Joe stood at the front of the room and gave like a 10 to 12 minute icebreaker speech. We learned about his ex-wife. We learned about his previous ex-employer who had been scapegoating him with all kind of stuff. We learned all kind of details about his current life, and I was like, wow, that's great. Let him, let him go if he wants to go. But let me tell you something. Democratic style, no. Why didn't I cut him off after 3 minutes? 3 minutes, I could have politely said, thank you for that. Go ahead and sit down because the meeting's already begun. Why didn't I do that? Because Democratic style leadership, you're like, I call it the whatever. It's not necessarily a whatever, but that's what I feel like when I feel like, he should stop talking now. But part of me thinks, let it go. Well, you know what happened? He knocked our meeting all crazy, and people who had prepared for roles, they missed their opportunity. Like, we didn't even do table topics that day, and the person who was table topic master missed out. So that is an area where a democratic style of leadership is. And if you have any pointers, by the way, Joe is doing very, very well with his personality type. He's done 3 speeches, but he's still not pathways enrolled. And I'm like, part of me says just let him go because we can backdate him. But get the date and get the title, and we'll just backdate him. It's a little tricky because other members are like, if he's not even enrolled yet, he shouldn't be. That's not fair. He's not even speaking. So kind of have that dynamic to work with. So like I said, any feedback you can offer, I will take it. So I hope I have been, I hope I've helped you with helping me, because that's just what I'm doing here. I'm like, I can't tell you about leadership because you guys did a fabulous job yesterday. It was wonderful. So, if you ever find yourself in Kingwood, Texas, on Friday morning at 7 a.m., please visit Deerwood Toastmasters. Mr. Toastmaster.